Hello, this is Nitin Dahad with EE Times. I'm here at the NI Connect conference 2026 in Dallas-Fort Worth in Texas. And I'm talking to Rudy Sengupta, who's Vice President of Software Division for Test and Measurement. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. Rudy, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. Now, the big topic for NI has been AI, and especially Nigel AI, which is what I think we've been hearing about over the last 2 years from you anyway, because I think I had a demo when I came over to Austin maybe a year and a half ago.
Yeah, that's right.
And now it's evolved. I think you've had adoption with 20% of your customers over the last year.
That's right.
Tell us a little bit about that, and then we'll talk more broadly about the general trends in the industry.
Absolutely, yeah. So as you mentioned, we've been working on Nigel for quite some time. About 2 years ago was about the first time we demoed the product and showed it to the broader customer base. And I know, yeah, you got to visit our labs and got to see an early preview. We officially launched the product last NI Connect around June 2025. And since then, we've seen great adoption, as you mentioned. About 20% of our install base actually is using Nigel, not just turning it on and playing with it, they're actually consistently using it and seeing productivity gains. The other really interesting statistic is after we release a new version of LabVIEW, we see some general adoption of people upgrading and buying new software. But we've seen significant growth in our new seat sales over the last year or so, above 20% growth on new seat sales, as well as LabVIEW 2025, customers have been upgrading about 40% faster than the last decade of software releases. So we're very happy to see that.
When you say new seat sales, what does that mean?
So that's basically people buying individual licenses of software. So this is not our large enterprise agreements. That's actually new users coming onto our platform. We're seeing significant growth of new users on our platform, and that's great to see.
Interesting. You know, when I talk to people, this whole use of AI, some are adopting, some are not, and you say you've got 20%. But what are the big challenges? I think it's just that customers are not sure exactly how to use it, or what?
Yeah. No, I mean, I think, as you mentioned, there's lots of talk around AI in general, right? The question in itself, which is, how are you using AI, is an interesting one. I think back to the last big inflection point we had in technology, which was like the internet, right? At least in my lifetime. And I assume at that time people were talking about, Nathan, like, how are you using the internet, right? But nobody, nobody today is asking you, how are you using the internet? People have moved on to talk about how are you using the applications that are built on top of the internet and the networking technology that's since then been obviously revolutionized. So we're in the early stages of AI, and people are absolutely in a state where they're trying to figure out what the real use cases and value proposition of these tools built with AI are. And the reason why we're seeing great adoption is because we're not just kind of pontificating about AI. We've actually released real capabilities that are professional grade that people can use. And so where people are able to, because again, to install AI, you have to have, or leverage any AI capability in enterprises, you have to have IT approval, and there's all sorts of things. And different companies are at different maturity levels of that. Well. Exactly, right. Yeah. So that's one challenge, and we're working with a lot of our customers to get past that barrier. But where we are able to get back past some of those, we're seeing great adoption of that technology.
Now, I mean, it sounds like the hardware has just become a commodity now. So instrumentation per se, you buy those, you buy the modules, the PXI, whatever, but it seems like it's all in the software. Is that what you're seeing?
So that's interesting, actually. I mean, in the 90s, we actually coined this phrase, software is the instrument, right? That's because we moved to this software-defined instrumentation, virtual instrumentation world. And since then, we've had this very concerted effort to continue to move our platform forward, which is hardware, software, data, and our partners. So we actually fully agree in the power of a software-powered platform, but hardware continues to be really, really critical. And when I say AI, I don't just actually mean large language models or the software. I actually think about the whole platform. And what that means to me is, of course, the large language models and the domain expertise that we put on top of it with Nigel, but it's actually also the core hardware elements. It's the compute capability that we put on our edge devices. It's the AI that actually does incredible synchronization across slots and chassis and then can stream that data directly to disk. All of these capabilities make our overall platform incredibly performant, especially when you're thinking about these AI-ready platforms that deliver extreme productivity gains.
Now, I mean, I've spoken to various parts of your customer ecosystem, like the automotive, the semiconductors, and various others, aerospace and defense. In all of these different areas, you'll have different partners, different customers. Are there any, when you talk about your 20% of customers using Nigel, for example, are there any specific areas where there's faster adoption? I'm guessing the defense and aerospace is slow, and that's going to be the one which is the least in terms of adoption. But where are you seeing most sort of traction right now?
That's a good question. So I would say before we talk about Nigel specifically, I think there's a lot of foundational capabilities that make AI extremely performant. The first one, and one of the most critical ones, I would argue, is the data. And actually, the two industries that are probably the most advanced in thinking about data and data platform tools is semiconductor, because especially in production, they've had a long history of really mature data tools. Things like standardizing on STDF file formats, as an example. And actually, aerospace and defense, there's been a really big concerted effort around digital transformation initiatives across labs, again, to drive efficiency. And a lot of that has come with data. Now, they think about data very differently. Obviously, security and privacy become really, really critical in the aerospace and defense applications. And security is a really key capability that we incorporate into our platforms. So we've been working with a lot of these customers to build out data strategies. And you're absolutely right. There are certain industries like aerospace defense where they're a little bit more hesitant or cautious about embracing AI. But the advantage that I see here is because their data is going to be more organized than other spaces, they're going to be more AI ready as we go forward, and I expect that to ramp. But there are some defense contractors that are leveraging AI in kind of more controlled environments, and we see good traction there.
You talk about semiconductors. I mean, it feels like either you work with companies like PDF Solutions or you compete with them sometimes, because I mean, they're pretty much embedded in that sort of intelligence or interpreting and analyzing the data from the semiconductor manufacturing ecosystem.
So that's true. We actually have a really compelling solution for semiconductor production analytics. And our key differentiation over some of the other vendors that you've mentioned is really our ability to work at the edge. So we have an incredible platform called Optimal Plus that has a long history of data and actually AI and ML incorporated into it. We are deployed across the largest semiconductor companies and actually on their manufacturing floors. And the key differentiation when I say edge is our software, the Optimal Plus suite, actually runs on the ATEs, and they can do real-time edge analytics. So things like if you've got a 10-step semiconductor validation process, right? You are seeing a pattern of failures happening on step 10. Now that means you're testing these parts for 9 steps where you know it's going to fail. We actually can go real time, update your test strategy to make sure we find that test or find that failure in step 1. We automatically reduce significant amount of bad parts going through your test and saving you costs. So that's a key differentiation of the Optimal Plus platform over some of the competitors.
Now, don't tell me AI. What do you see as the key sort of opportunities and innovations happening in test and measurement over the next maybe even 12 months?
Yeah, I think, again, I won't say AI. I'll talk about some of the applications where AI may be a key capability that comes with it. What we see across our industry is the DUTs that our customers are testing are
Devices under test.
Yeah, sorry, you're right. Yeah, devices under test. The devices that our customers are building and testing are becoming more complex, whether that's in semiconductor where you're moving from what used to be a 2-dimensional chip to be a 3-dimensional package of lots of technologies. In automotive, we're seeing convergence of ECUs, and aerospace defense, again, really complex LRUs with flight controllers and other things becoming more complicated. So as these devices are becoming more complex, what we're actually seeing, if you think about the whole workflow of what a test engineer does, is the part that used to be really complicated, which is writing the test code to be able to test the device, is actually becoming more commoditized because AI and general purpose LLMs are making that easier to do. But what's becoming harder are the things that come before that and after, which means Coming up with the test strategy for a more complicated device to test is much harder. Building an actual test system and thinking about what that solution needs to be to test that complex part is a lot more complicated. So that's a more complex space, and we're investing a lot to make that more seamless and efficient. And then after you've got all your data, understanding where your failures are, doing root cause analysis, finding that needle in that ever-growing haystack of data is becoming more complicated, and we're again investing in that space to reduce the barrier for our customers to be productive there. So again, we will absolutely use AI in all of those spaces to make those more efficient, but it's not just about AI, it's about all of our 50 years of test and measurement expertise, our 40 years of software expertise that's going into making sure that a customer has a cohesive test and measurement operations platform.
Well, Rudy, we've run out of time. Thank you very much.
No worries. Excellent. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.